paradox. So today we're going to talk about taverns, and people have been excited about taverns ever since they saw the Brew Bear video, and they found out that this particular Brew Bear's name is Mug. Unlike other MMORPGs where everything takes place in one central quest hub, the world of Vera is big. You go out, you explore, and then you go somewhere to get your next adventure. And sometimes that place you get your next adventure is going to be a tavern with a big bear in the corner. All right, guys, it's Jahlon, and today is the Ashes 101 on taverns. Usually I try to make all of my videos as single shot standalone videos, but to understand taverns and why they're so important, you need to kind of grasp the world size and travel times concept. There's a video on that in the upper right hand corner. If you watch that, great. If you didn't watch it, you don't have to. The too long didn't watch is the destination isn't the only content. Your journeys in the world are also going to be content. And there's going to be events that happen that you'll only run into when you're traveling in the world. So what we have is we have the purpose of taverns, and you won't always have time to go all the way home. You won't have time to travel back to your home node, your freehold, your instance department, your in-node house. Sometimes you need a temporary place to rest. And journeys have a time requirement. You don't always want to be running back. So the tavern can serve as a temporary headquarters. It's a place that you can go and stop for a moment. You can rest and regroup. You can get ready for another adventure, or you can even find new adventures. So what we have is a continuation of the story I was telling in that other video. I've traveled 2 hours from my home node, straight north of me, and I've cleared out an open world event. And now it's time to go to my next adventure. And a lot of people would automatically travel home and go back to their home base. But what if there was somewhere I could go that cuts this distance in half? Clearly, we see on the map there's some other content to do. And I'm in luck because when I was traveling down here, I remember seeing a tavern. And of course, it was a notable tavern because there was a big brew bear outside. So instead of traveling all the way back to my home node, I go to a tavern, I get some food buffs, I talk to some other people that are there, and I find out that there's content to do. I find out from some people that up there in the upper right-hand corner, a dwarf city has grown, and it spawned off one of those world events, that dwarf city getting too big. It leveled the node, it irritated a dragon, and now there's a new world boss or there's a node event going on. Had I not stopped at that tavern, I might not know about those things. People might be traveling there to do that content, and I group up with them. We do know that in Ashes, there's going to be a couple of different tavern types. We're going to have in-node taverns, and we're going to have freehold taverns. Now, the in-node taverns are mostly unknowns. We don't know who the owners are. We do know it's players, but we don't know which players because we don't know how to acquire them. We don't know how many taverns can be built in a node, but we do know there is a limit. You can't make a bar town. The mayor can't build out every single constructibles plot as a bar, although I think that'd be an interesting sort of, underworld sort of crazy town to go to. Freehold taverns, on the other hand, are freehold buildings. We talked about in the freehold video up there in the corner that you decide what you put on your freehold. So you purchase the blueprint to the tavern, you build your tavern, and then you run it like a business. They will follow the standard freehold building rules. And like I said, we do have that entire video on freeholds. But to answer the commonly asked questions about freeholds, there won't be co-ownership. There will be a single owner of the freehold. That single owner can set permissions so multiple people can participate in the running of the business. Now, running a tavern isn't just a boring, fill it up with, stuff people sell. There is a financial shop sort of transaction there. It is a player-run business. You will sell food and drinks. These last for a set time after you leave the tavern. And those food and drink buffs will offer additional bonuses if you quest or grind or run dungeons within the proximity of the tavern. Taverns will also offer rested XP if you rent a bed there. Now, I know you're going to ask me the question, if I can rent a bed at a tavern, what's the purpose of an inn? And I do not have an answer for that. Cooks will also be able to buy recipes that this tavern discovered. A lot of people are concerned that the artisan system is going to be a boring system where you don't do discovery. They have hinted several times when talking about taverns that the owner of the tavern or the cooks for the tavern will be doing experimenting with the local spices, grains, meats, and they will be able to unlock proprietary recipes that they own for a period of 6-ish weeks, and then they become public. But during that time, you'd be able to trade those recipes with other cooks. So lots of pieces going on there, lots of people, lots of things you're going to have questions on. I just don't have those answers yet. We also know that when you're running your tavern, you will be able to hire NPCs to help run the tavern. They're going to do things like serve drinks so the tavern can run 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Because this is a freehold building, it can level up. The more customers you serve, the faster your tavern will level up. But a tavern is more than just a business. A tavern is set up so that there are quests that may be obtained in player-owned taverns. The tavern owner will be looking for ingredients, crafting materials. So there's going to be a certain, I want X of this, and I load my bulletin board with the, I want 50 deer meat. You bring me 50 deer meat, you get this payment. So it's a way for those tasks that we've talked about in the PvE content to be created by players, not just by the system. This also helps stop currency from overinflating the economy, because if I want you to go fetch 50 deer meat, that 50 deer meat reward comes out of my pocket, not the system's. You're also going to be able to have postings for localized grouping for dungeons. Remember, there is no central party finder in Ashes of Creation, so the bulletin boards in dungeons, or bulletin boards in taverns near those dungeons, are going to be a way for people to find their groups. We also know that the bulletin boards can be used for putting bounties on the corrupted in the local area. Again, you're going to ask me questions about this. I do not have more than the single soundbite that you can put a player bounty on a corrupted. This is kind of like EVE Online. I just hope that they get the execution done much better. Now, what would a tavern be without music and good conversation? The tavern owners can set the music for the tavern. We don't know if this is going to be one song or a jukebox or a playlist. Final Fantasy XIV has an amazing jukebox system, and in Ashes of Creation actually saw this. I talked about it in a tweet and they liked it. So I now know that it's on their radar that they may look into that jukebox system. Now we know the proximity voice is going to exist in taverns. And on my live stream, we've talked about all the problems with the voiceover, the proximity chat. How this is going to work will require finessing. Does the tavern owner get control over who can talk? And I almost believe that the tavern owner needs to have the ability to squelch people who are doing things that are griefing with the proximity chat, like yelling or loud music, those sort of things. I think the tavern owner should have the right to mute those people, since they don't have the ability to ban them from the tavern. Another cool thing about taverns people always forget about is the Parlor Games, the games of chance that were unlocked during the Kickstarter. This is often forgotten about, but we're going to have games of chance, dice, cards, other less savory games. Now, they said that they want the ability to wager with in-game currency. The problem is I do not know how they are going to make that work. They want the house, the tavern, to be able to get a cut of all the bets. So your tavern is really like a tavern and a casino, but this is yet to be backed up as doable. And I say that because ArcAge had to remove their casino out of the game, and Final Fantasy XIV had to jump through a lot of hoops to make the gold saucer a reality. That has to do with a lot of European and United States online gambling laws. So I'm not sure if we're going to see that in-game currency betting option, but I think that they might be able to come up with the same as the Gold Saucer did and do a bound currency for bound items. I know they wanted to stay away from soulbound stuff. That's really the only way I see them getting the casino through the door. Finally, we have the battle maps. I want to preface this. This is not currently on the development roadmap. These were talked about, and then they were put back below the line. So they were kind of a scope creep, and then Steven walked them right back, and he's like, you know what? We may not end up doing this. But it is kind of cool in that it's meant to work like a game of Risk. You can analyze node or castle siege plans, and then you can place your buff zones before the siege. And I know that's going to sound like it's not really a fleshed out idea. I'm pretty certain this one died in development, but it's possible that it comes out later as some more of the core viable product features are feature complete. This one may get talked about again. And you know what, guys? That is it for today on Taverns. I know a lot of this stuff is we don't know, but that's just the nature of a game in development. I know a lot of people were excited about Taverns, so I did the video. I'm looking for a lot of good discussions in the comments below. And remember, guys, since Taverns aren't fully flushed out yet, leaving good constructive comments is a good way to get feedback to Intrepid. I know that they look at all the comments on all the videos that the creators do. I want to remind you guys, if you haven't checked out Ashes 101 yet, go over there. The team of people working on the HTML, they've really vamped up the site. I'm really happy with it. I take no credit for the design. Zetrix is my lead HTML ninja, done an amazing job. Finally, if this is your first exposure to Ashes of Creation and you haven't made your account yet, welcome to Ashes of Creation. And I'm going to ask you to use my referral code in the description below. I do get a kickback for it, so I'll fully disclose that. But it also lets me know if I'm reaching new people. As the referral number goes up, I know that new people are seeing the content, so it kind of helps drive and shape the content I'm doing. If you need me, I'm Jahlon #0001 on Discord. I'm on the official Ashes of Creation Discord, and then my Discord is linked below. And until the next video, guys, you guys take care. Join me on Twitch Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays, and most Saturdays. I stream Q&A. You can get all your questions answered live and not in just a text format. Take care. I'll see you next time. What are you still doing here? Nobody ever stays this long. This is the end screen. Well, since you're here, there's a couple other videos I think you should check out. And all those names, those are my patrons over at Patreon. I couldn't do this without them. So, big thanks to them for all their support.